Gang. Make sure we good. Blockchain crypto gang. We are in the building. Gotta knock the dust off. A little bit. It's been a minute. Make sure the levels was cool and everything. Are we good? 1-1. Okay, we good. All we gotta do now is make sure that we're sharing like we're supposed to be sharing. It's been a minute, y'all. Gotta knock the dust off a little bit. Gotta see anyway, how y'all been, man? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody that's watching. How's your New Year been? Hopefully it's been cool. Been going through a lot. We ain't gonna get into the personal stuff too much. A lot's been going on in this crypto blockchain streets. And we're gonna go over some of that. Let me see. I don't know how I got this little 15,000 views in January when I haven't been on for a minute, as y'all know. But we're going to get back to work. Before I even start this, because we are going to be talking, I'm going to take my time with this. And we are going to be speaking about Trump and the Trump coin a lot and what a Trump administration looks like or what crypto looks like during a Trump administration. And I've spoke about this before. But before I do that, I just want to, just for transparency reasons, I want to kind of tell you my politics, which I really don't like to do on this platform. But I just want to do it just for perspective because some of the sources that I'm going to use are not Trump supporters. Me personally, I'm apolitical, or I should say I'm independent. I don't go with either side. I don't support blindly either side. I support policies. I'm objective about it. So I like Trump. Not necessarily for presidential reasons. I like him because he's petty. That probably doesn't translate to a good president. I like him because he's entertaining. He's very, he's a funny dude. Like nobody trolls like Trump. I love it. Like I said, doesn't necessarily make him a great president. But to be honest with you, I really didn't like the other side in the options that they gave. I didn't really like what the Democrats were talking about and doing during this. So I stayed out. I didn't vote for either side. So I'm just letting you know this because I don't want you to think that this is a hit piece on Trump because it's not. But I do have to let you know my actual feelings and the actual facts about this particular situation and these particular coins that, Trump has came out with. Because I've been warning people ever since CryptTalk podcast about pump and dumps, and this looks a little scamish. And with the history of some of the ways that he gets down, you could probably put it in that category of high risk, if nothing else. So we're gonna do it like that. All right. But first, let's get into this. Oh, by the way, and another thing I do want to say about a Trump presidency, about a Trump administration, and how to maneuver, in my personal opinion, when it comes to like trying to get your money up. You do have to have hopefully you have a decent job where you can save and invest, side hustle. I believe that there are certain assets that are going to do very well under a Trump presidency. I think Dogecoin is going to definitely do well because we do have Elon Musk in the mix. I think Tesla is going to do very well. I think Bitcoin is going to do very well. I think a lot of real estate stocks are going to do very well. I think if you can play the game, because understand how many billionaires are in this administration. So if you can play the game like the rich folks, and because of technology, we can, like we have, and I've been saying this for years, we have the leverage now to be able to play the game like billionaires. Of course, it's going to be scaled to how much we have, but we have access to some of the same means of making our money work for us the same way, billionaires have done for decades. So I think that within a Trump presidency, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. There's also going to be a lot of risk. So, you want to be able to play the game according to your abilities. And this is why I've been saying for years, you need to learn about how to deal with some of these protocols. Some of these things in DeFi and blockchain will allow you to leverage in ways that we've never seen before blockchain. Fractionized stocks, just all the different things we can do, DeFi and staking and liquidity providing. If you understand what that means, liquidity providing is something that you would need millions and billions to be able to do before blockchain. But now we can actually put our money into protocols that allow us to get paid for every trade that is done by particular pairs. Don't have time to really get into that. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways that I believe that you can really leverage during a Trump presidency, regardless of how you feel about him. Look at Bitcoin at 107,000 right now. We got a $2.1 trillion market cap. That is ridiculous. But it's something that if you watched my very first broadcast of the year, 2024, I made predictions of where Bitcoin would be right about now. And it's about where I thought it would be. I said 1 to 150 within the first quarter of 2025. But right now, we're in January and we're at 107,000. And when I said this, Bitcoin was at 40,000. So not to toot my own horn, I'm just saying. We got Ethereum, of course, looking good. XRP has, look at this, 7 days, 19%. XRP has been doing this thing. Solana, 36% in the last 7 days, doing this thing. Dogecoin, 8%. I do believe that Dogecoin, especially because, like I said, Elon Musk, and it just so happens to be that the department that he's heading, Department of Government, what's the E stand for? I forgot, but it's Doge. So I think Doge is going to do well. I mean, just think about it. Elon Musk, he's a big Doge dude. He's in the administration. I would think that any business or anything that he's affiliated with will probably do well. Like if I'm Elon Musk and I'm sitting right next to the president, Tesla's going to do well. SpaceX is going to do well. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of pumping of Dogecoin low key. And people are going to also, they're going to also want to see that thing go back to the all-time high and surpass that. So like I said before, Dogecoin is one of those ones that, it'll probably do well. But anyway, Cardano, as you can see, just looking at it, stellar. You can just see like some of these top coins and what these numbers are right now. The market is looking pretty good. Official Trump, 578%. This thing just launched a few days ago. It's at $44. Market cap of 8 trillion. Excuse me, 8 trillion. That's ridiculous. 8 billion. It's already 23. In a few days, it's 23. But of course, this is the president. The president, whatever the president says is going to go. So do I believe you can make some money under Trump presidency and even with his official Trump coin? Of course. You got to be careful, though, because it is up almost 600% for the 7 day, which is good. If you invested in this, you might be up right now. But there is dangers, there are some dangers in that. So like I said, oh my God, I wasn't even showing you guys. I'm sorry. You guys weren't even seeing what I was seeing. There we go. Let me slow it down. Like I said, it's been a minute, kind of rusty on the trigger over here. But as I said, Trump is up. The Trump coin is up 578%. I do know it was down like 50%. This is going to be it's going to be a bumpy ride. And this is why I say, like, when it comes to those who want to jump on bandwagons of the latest trends, when it comes to like either DeFi protocols or meme coins specifically, you got to be careful. This is why I say you have to learn how to deal with these protocols. You have to learn how to deal with these decentralized wallets, these DEX, decentralized exchanges. You have to learn how to do these on your own, because if not, you won't even be able to get into some of these meme coin opportunities, which are high risk. But you won't even be able to do that if you don't know how to deal with some of these decentralized protocols. Yes, in the case of this official Trump coin, Trump did do something that was pretty smart, which is he made it available through traditional payment rails, meaning fiat, meaning you could use credit card to buy this coin. But you would still have to have a wallet to hold it. And you would still have to have a wallet to exchange it back to Solana in order to sell it and, take the profits and things like that. And that wasn't explained on the website. So I'm just saying you still have to have some type of know-how. If you've never done a simple exchange or transaction with Bitcoin, you're probably not going to be ready to get into the meme coin situations. And you have to understand that when it comes to these meme coins, literally the difference of you making money or not could be a couple hours. It could be like you just didn't see when it dropped and blah, blah, and all of a sudden now you're wrecked. It could be that simple. Anyway, let me scroll back up to Bitcoin before we get to these stories real quick. As you can see, Bitcoin at about 107,000, up 10% last week. Ethereum's up 3%. XRP's up 19% the last week. Solana's up 36%. Dogecoin's up 8%. Now let's go ahead and get to one of these stories. And like I said, some of these stories are going to come from people who may appear to be anti-Trump. So this is not a Trump hit piece. It's not for me to say who you should support politically. Like I said, there's some good things about Trump that I like. Most of them aren't presidential things. Most of them are like personal petty things. But nevertheless, you can leverage a Trump presidency if you play your cards right. But let's go ahead and see what's going on with this Trump coin, according to this particular person from Midas Touch, is it? Yeah, let's go. So we got to understand what that means, because I spoke about this before with different projects like the KCB, Karatbars. When you have a situation, and even with Dogecoin, I spoke about this like during the last bull cycle when Dogecoin was being promoted by Elon Musk and Mark Cuban on Saturday Night Live and the Elaine DeGeneres show and all that. I told you, like, yo, you got to be careful when you're dealing with some of these projects where 80 or 90% of the coins are owned by one or a few people. You have to be careful, because that means they can control the algorithm. Meaning that, what I'm saying, like if particularly for this coin, if 80% is allocated, 80% of the supply is allocated to a few people. What that means is when they created this coin, they gave away 80% to a handful of people. The other 20% goes public. So as the public buys into this coin, the 80% who didn't even pay for theirs, their bags are pumping. Meaning that if they decide to dump, you're going to see an 80% dump or whatever percent that they dump. So you got to be real careful. You have to be real savvy. And this is what I said about the Karatbars, because 90% of those coins were owned by one wallet. Dogecoin, because like 80% of theirs was owned by like 5 different wallets. And in this case, the same kind of thing. And this is why those waivers had to come in play. I got to be honest with you. This is not a Trump hit piece, but it is unprecedented that a president is hawking so many different things, that a president who was against Bitcoin during his presidency realized he can make money off of crypto personally. All of a sudden, he's gung-ho for crypto, and he created a meme coin, which is diabolical. That's nasty work in itself. Not that you can't make money from it, but just understand he didn't make it for you to make money. Okay? Just to be fair, he didn't. This is about grifting his own supporters. Now, within a grift, yes, if you can stick and move, if you can hit and quit, pump and dump at the right time, you can still make money. I'm just saying that's a high risk. That's all I'm saying. Which means that
You expect, though, with a convicted felon like Donald?
Are you not hearing the audio from the video out there? Let me do a quick mic check real quick. Let me do a quick check. I have a feeling that we weren't getting the audio shared here.
You expect, though, with
okay, now we are. Okay, all right. Are you not hearing the audio? Hold up, we're good. Let's go.
Donald Trump and a sexual assaulter like Donald Trump. What else would you expect when it comes to Melania, who is out there saying, oh, this is just locker room talk? I'm not really sure what accent that is. This was just locker room talk when Donald Trump was bragging about sexually assaulting women and non-consensually grabbing their genitals. This is who they are. Where we honor letters and symbols. Why are they doing that? Because they don't want to.
I'm gonna go ahead and take it back a little bit.
You love the letters,
just in case
Melania, or if you want to show you love the letters, politics or anything. Just if you want to show that you, though, and said, actually, this isn't about the presidency or politics or anything. Just if you want to show that you love the letters, Melania, or if you want to show you love the letters, symbol money sign TRUMP, then be a part of this great community where we honor letters and symbols. Why are they doing that? Because they don't want to consider it a security. So they're trying to avoid getting sued for the ultimate rug pull. So here's what goes down, though, right? So Donald Trump's meme coin is going high. It's increasing. We were warning everybody. This looks like a scam. This looks like the Haktua pump and dumpy thing, and 80%, 90% of the allocation is going to insiders, which means that Trump is probably making billions and billions of dollars. But we said, watch out, be very careful. And then, look, I thought that was going to dump and crash.
And look, to be fair, a lot of these meme coins are allocated the same way, which is diabolical when you consider that this is a president that is doing this. But, you know, this is a different kind of president. Like I said, he's a very unorthodox type of president. Love him or hate him. My point is, learn how to leverage off of these situations, these opportunities. This isn't about how you feel about, it's not about how I personally feel about Donald Trump. I'm telling you this from an objective point of view on what is going down in this crypto blockchain world, so the gang can know how to bang, you know what I'm saying, on the blockchain, you know, and leverage this opportunity. What I would actually say is stay away from these type of opportunities if you're new. Like, this is why I've been saying for years, learn how to deal with these decentralized protocols on your own. If you do that, then you can take the chance of some of these high risk plays. If not, there's nothing wrong with just buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever you feel are good assets and just holding it. Like, we are in a bull cycle right now. And according to historical patterns in the past, we probably won't see the peak of this bull cycle till around October. And I've been saying this for like a year and a half now. So whatever you're holding right now, we're going to have probably a good altcoin surge. I'm going to get into a story about that a little bit later. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, according to the historical pattern of the halving, which happened last year in April, we probably will see the peak around, give or take, October of this year. So we still have time to stack your sats, stack the things that you think are going to, you know, do what you need them to do. But, and that's okay, just to play the game on a conservative level. Because when you're talking about crypto, even conservatively playing the crypto market is still pretty aggressive and high risk compared to other traditional markets. All right. That's all I'm saying.
No matter what. But then Melania or Smelania gets in on the action. She releases the Smelania coin, and then boom, kind of right when that happened, thud.
So you're looking at that graph right there. That's what the Trump coin did when Melania dropped her coin. Now, in case you don't know, and I've covered this before on CryptTalk podcast, which you can still find on Odysee. You can't find it on YouTube anymore. But I've covered these things before. Donald Trump and Melania Trump both have dropped NFTs on Solana. They both have had different crypto projects that they've dabbled within the last couple of years. But I don't see this as a coincidence here. Melania coin dropping or you know, deploying and Trump coin dropping 60%. That is, you can't drop 60% if only 20% of the holders are selling it, if you know what I mean. So what I'm saying is, if 80% is allocated to a few wallets, to the few executive holders within this ecosystem, meaning Trump and probably the developers and other people that's involved in the project, and 80% of the coins are allocated to them. If you see a 60% drop, that means a significant number of them likely, allegedly, dumped it for the profit, because that was the play in the first place. So this was one of those situations, like I said, a couple hours could be the difference between a make or break with the meme coin. So if you bought this coin on Saturday and you didn't drop it by today, you might be down, even though it's up 580 or 500, 600% for the week. You know, you may have took a loss. You may not have, but this is just the risk that you have to understand. I don't think it's a coincidence that it dropped 60%, then Melania's coin come out. No, I think there was profits that were being taken, you know, of course, by some of the people who bought in, but also by some of the execs that were already holding the coin for free that took pure profit. That's just likely the scenario, right? And this is not unique to the Trump coin. This is just how meme coins work. So like I said, it's a little bit of nasty work. It's kind of diabolical seeing this coming from an actual president, but it is what it is, man. This is 2025. This is what the people wanted, and this is what the people's going to get, like it or not. Let's go.
The Trump meme coin, boom, crashes. This Melania meme coin, not doing well. A cascading effect takes place where then even Bitcoin is going down. The crypto markets start to crash. The crypto markets look to be suffering as a result of this. And it is the oldest tale in the books for Donald Trump and Melania. The greed, the greed, the greed. You couldn't even wait. You had to exploit that position before day one, you two freaking grifters. What else would you expect, though, with a convicted felon like Donald Trump and a sexual assaulter like Donald Trump? What else would you expect when it comes to Melania, who is out there saying, oh, this is just locker room talk? I'm not really sure.
I don't want to get into too much slander of the president. But, you know, this is something that, you know, you has to be considered, right? I'm not saying don't try to get any money off of this. You do what you want to do. Take the risk that you feel that you're able to take. However, just understand how these patterns are pretty similar when it comes to carrot bars. You know, who do we have on the top of carrot bars and Gold Standard Bank, and what kind of plays that they make? Now, the difference is, at least when you're dealing with this particular coin on the Solana blockchain, if you know how to deal with wallets like the Soulflare wallet, et cetera, you can copy the contract code and you can do your own trading into this coin and trade in and out at your own leisure if you know how. Unlike what you could do on some of these centralized exchanges that were you know, camouflaged as decentralized exchanges when it comes to the carrot bars Gold Standard Bank. So there's that. Like I said, this isn't about a hit piece on Trump. I just have to share the facts and my opinions on, you know, how this goes. But anyway, a Trump meme coin ETF is already in the works. So remember, this is President. This is Mr. President. This is our dear leader. So he might have the type of leverage to get an ETF pushed, and it looks like that's exactly what they're trying to do. According to a new securities filing Tuesday, which is today, revealed that an ETF issuer is already rushing to launch a fund to track the new Trump crypto token. Crazy, right? This is 2025, y'all. It's going to get wild. Buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. It doesn't mean that you can't do your thing and you can't stack a little change. Gang, I'm letting you know, the opportunities are going to be present within this administration and this next 4 years. It's also going to be dangerous and risky for those who don't know what they're doing. So don't play the game at a higher level than you're really ready. This is why I've been saying for years, you have to learn these protocols on your own. You can't depend on the centralized Coinbases and Robinhoods and all these kind of things. You're going to have to know how to deal with these things on your own, because there's going to be a lot of fugazi that's going to be introduced. Anyway, the proposed fund is called the Rex Osprey Trump ETF. The fund could gain exposure to the Trump token, at least in part, through a Cayman Island subsidiary. According to the document, the filing does not have a ticker or fee listed. The type of filing and the preliminary details included suggest that the fund would be legally different from how the popular Bitcoin ETFs operate. That could help the fund launch more quickly, but could also increase the likelihood that regulators reject the proposal. I don't know what that would look like. I think Trump is the kind of guy that if he really wants to get something pushed, and he does have the Senate and the House, and he does have a lot of loyalty, right? A lot of blind loyalty. Like, people aren't going to go against Trump because Trump is the kind of guy that will make you suffer if you go against him. I think if he really wants this ETF, if he really sees an opportunity to leverage off of this ETF, it's going to go through. So anyway, that's just what he's trying to do. They're trying to, it looks like somebody's filing for a meme ETF, which is diabolical work. That is nasty work. That is definitely different, right? But it is what it is. It's times we're living in. Trump meme coin is a reminder of crypto's dumbest use case. So, like I said, some of these sources, CNN's not really pro-Trump per se. I'm not using it because of that. I'm just using it because I think it's important that we cover all the bases. So New York, CNN, President Donald Trump promised crypto investors he'd usher in an era of legitimacy for an industry that's long been regulated to the financial wilderness, dismissed by some mainstream investors as a highly speculative bet or at best, an elaborate Ponzi scheme at worst. But days before his inauguration, Trump shocked many of his crypto supporters by peddling a digital token known as a meme coin, a functionally worthless asset that trades on hype and are a go-to vehicle for scams known as rug pulls. This is just the facts. That's what meme coins are. These are not something that have any traditional utility that you would want out of crypto. It's not something that, it's very highly speculative at best. These are meme coins, right? It is what it is. And that's okay. It's part of the game. To be clear, not all meme coins are scams, and that's true. And the Trump Melania coins appear to have safeguards built in to prevent a rug pull. Specifically, the Trump coins website says, that's what it says. Just remember, everything that people say about the coin isn't necessarily true. I'm not saying it is or not. I'm just saying this is what it says. Its majority holders are subject to 3-year unlocking schedule, so they can't sell all at once. Doesn't mean they can't sell. Okay. But even without selling a single token, the Trump org has raked in an estimated $58 million in a single day in trading fees alone, according to crypto researcher and former Coinbase executive. So it is what it is. It's a money game. I just want y'all to understand something, because I know a lot of people think that Elon Musk was pumping Dogecoin because he wanted to make you guys rich. And remember when and I told you this would happen during the last bull cycle. I told you, like, yo, be careful with this Dogecoin pump. It's going to dump, and it indeed did. Just understand, these billionaires, they're not making these moves for you to get rich. It doesn't mean you can't take advantage and make your moves, in a strategic way that leverages your own wealth. It just means that that's not their purpose. So you have to be able to play the game with anticipation of what they may do, and you have to dump before they dump, or you get wrecked. You know what I'm saying? You end up being exit liquidity for the boss dogs. So there's that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to this next story. Coinbase CEO remains bullish on crypto future under Trump administration. Now keep in mind, this is a very subjective point of view. This is, the CEO of Coinbase. Of course, he's going to tell you, hey, this looks good under Trump administration, of course, because he benefits from you using this platform and buying crypto. Now, I agree with him. I happen to agree. I think that crypto is very bullish under Trump administration for 2 reasons. For 3 reasons. The president, vice president, and the first lady. They're all holders of crypto. The vice president says he owns, at one point, $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. Melania and Donald, Mr. President, they've had several different crypto endeavors from meme coins to NFTs. I believe during their administration, they're going to do things that's going to allow crypto to flourish, because by doing so, they're going to leverage and increase their wealth in the crypto game. So yes, I expect this to be a very prosperous, bullish cycle for Bitcoin and for altcoins. All right. So I do believe, even though he's subjectively saying this because it benefits him, I believe he is right. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has expressed his confidence in the Trump administration and remained bullish on the crypto market future. Where are we at? Armstrong attended the World Economic Forum at Davos, where he participated in a panel discussion. One key highlight underlined by the exchange CEO was Bitcoin achieving its all-time high value in recent hours. It's going to continue to do this. Brian Armstrong, bullish about crypto investment. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong participated in the panel discussion of the World Economic Forum that happened in Davos. He said the second term of Donald Trump is very likely to bring investment in crypto, adding, and you have to also understand why Trump administration is going to be very good for crypto. If you don't know, and I guess I haven't reported this because I haven't really been on air for a minute, a lot of crypto money went into funding Trump's campaign, meaning that Trump has a favorable view of crypto because the crypto brothers put money in his coffer, and they didn't do it for no reason. And he understands that. And it's going to be a mutually beneficial type of situation, because there's also talks of the administration making a $25 billion Bitcoin reserve in the treasury, and also mixing that with some Solana and some USDC or whatnot. So there's going to be a lot of different reasons why crypto, is set to probably flourish pretty nicely during this bull cycle. Okay. To have a leader of the largest GDP country in the world come out and undeniably and say that he wants to be the first crypto president, Brian said. He then added, as per a report by Reuters, that it would be legislation in Congress that would bring a lot of new investment to cryptocurrencies. Coinbase CEO emphasized that the recent all-time high in the value of Bitcoin was largely due to the inauguration of Donald Trump. I agree. I think the market is reacting very well to Donald Trump administration. That's why Bitcoin is doing well. That's why these altcoins are doing well. I think people are very optimistic about a Trump administration, especially because Trump, like no other president in history, including himself, because his first administration, his first presidency, he was against Bitcoin. He was highly against Bitcoin. He's came around now. Now he wants to be the crypto president. Of course, I believe that is for personal reasons, but it doesn't mean the effect won't be positive for the rest of the crypto industry, including those of us who are bag holders, the crypto blockchain gang. So it is going to be what it is. And I believe that Mr. Armstrong is correct. We're going to see a lot of new all-time highs. We're going to see this thing skyrocket. We're going to see things that we've only imagined and things that we spoke about for years that would happen, as far as like the integration of this blockchain technology into traditional financial system. We're going to see the influx of adoption. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we're only about 2% globally. This is going to increase, I believe, under a Trump presidency. We're seeing whole countries now starting to make these moves. Let's go to this real quick right here. Let's go to Wyoming. And this is something I've reported on before. Wyoming and Massachusetts join a growing list of states considering Bitcoin reserves. More and more states are now saying, you know what, we need some Bitcoin reserves. Remember, we have at least 2 major city mayors in Miami and New York who get paid their salary in Bitcoin. That's the Miami mayor and the New York mayor. Like I said, they get paid their salary in Bitcoin. We have seen sports stars taking their money in Bitcoin. Not just the major football, basketball, baseball, soccer. We've seen tennis. We have seen MMA fighters. We've seen, what else do we see take their profits in Bitcoin? Oh, rappers, their contracts, $1 million contracts in Bitcoin, which now is probably worth like $3 million. Talking about money, man. So, yeah, we're going to be seeing some things, man. So state Bitcoin reserves momentum is still growing while the Coinbase backed the idea of a federal BTC stockpile for the first time publicly. Wyoming and Massachusetts have joined the expanding number of U.S. states that may soon vote on establishing Bitcoin reserves, with representatives from both states submitting draft legislation supporting the initiative on just this Friday. In Wyoming, a group of 5 Republican legislators submitted a bill that would permit the state treasurer to invest public funds in Bitcoin, but no other digital assets. So they're kind of Bitcoin maxis, which makes sense. You're not going to do this on some altcoin or some meme coin, right? But this is something that we've been seeing grow over the years. You've seen like the idea. If you've been following CryptTalk podcast and even Blockchain Crypto Gang, you've noticed I've covered different stories of different states wanting to dabble with the idea of Bitcoin reserves or accepting Bitcoin for taxes or just other ways that they're showing you that they want this Bitcoin, right? You have to think about the fact that why are all these large states, some of these countries, some of these 500, these top 500 companies, whatever you call them, I forgot. Some of these top corporations are like, yo, we want Bitcoin. We'll take Bitcoin. We'll accept Bitcoin. We'll accept crypto. They're not doing that because they think the price is going to go down, right? They're doing it because they want to stockpile this asset that they know is scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. It's a scarce asset. Of course, anyone who is smart money wants scarce assets. This is why it's so important for y'all to understand, like, yo, we have Michael Saylor buying up Bitcoin. Anyway, we'll get into that in a second. In recent weeks, other states have put forth slightly more permissive bills, which in some cases allow states to invest in stable coins and other cryptocurrencies that surpass 500 billion in market capitalization. Though, as of this writing, Bitcoin is the only asset to meet that requirement. So the shift is happening, right? Wyoming bill is also more restrictive in other regards. It will only permit its treasurer to invest 3% of its given state fund into Bitcoin. So they're being pretty, they're trying to be conservative, if you will. Proposed legislation in other states, such as Pennsylvania and Oklahoma, would allow for investments in digital assets to make up 10% of similar public funds. So basically what you're seeing is, I made a video on CryptTalk podcast years ago talking about the civil war of Bitcoin within the government, meaning that there were some people in the government that were anti-cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and some were advocates for it, and that they're going to have to hash out, saying how they want to move forward as a government. And it looks like Bitcoin has won. We have won. Gang, we won. Let's go ahead and go to this next story. Of course, this should not be surprising news, right? Oh, guess what, guys? Microstrategy bought another. Yeah, of course. They bought another $1 billion in Bitcoin last week. They don't care if Bitcoin is worth 100,000. They don't care. They just want all the Bitcoin. Understand this. Understand that we're in a situation where rich people, billionaires, and billionaire companies are trying to buy all the Bitcoin. We got the government saying, yo, we need Bitcoin reserves. Remember, the U.S. government already probably is the largest holder of Bitcoin as it is. So when you see money grabs like this, when you see the top echelons of wealthy people all trying to buy this one asset, you better have some of that asset. That's all I'm saying. You be wise to try to have some of that asset and to be in this market. That's all I'm saying. So Microstrategy has purchased another 1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin for its treasury, which brings its total holding to 461,000 Bitcoin. That is disgusting. That's nasty, because there's not enough Bitcoin for every person to have a whole Bitcoin. If you have a whole Bitcoin, you are like a 1%er, pretty much. By the way, 461,000 Bitcoin. Can you imagine? This is the 11th week in a row MicroStrategy has announced a Bitcoin purchase. The rich want this Bitcoin. They're trying to buy all the Bitcoin. Look, let me explain something to you. Bitcoin is being bought by the likes of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy at a rate faster than it's being created. Okay? Just understand that. We're only seeing 450 Bitcoin being created per day. Okay? So this Bitcoin is being bought faster than it's being created, which is making it more and more scarce. This is why the price is due. This is why they're saying, hey, we're going to be looking at a $400,000 Bitcoin this bull cycle. I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm saying if it gets to 150, 160, be happy. Conservatively speaking, that'd be fine with me, because that means that the altcoins, of course, are going to skyrocket as well. But a lot of people smarter than me, and maybe some of us cap, they're saying, oh, 250,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. I'm not depending on that, but I understand how they came with these kind of numbers when you're seeing Bitcoin being bought by the likes of Microstrategies and others by the billions every day. Like, this is the news that we're getting, right? Microstrategy is a public company. They pretty much have to disclose this. What about the private companies? What about the private billionaires who don't want to disclose it, who are buying the same amount? This is why Bitcoin is, we're going to be looking at, some crazy numbers on Bitcoin. Investors will vote Tuesday to increase MicroStrategy's Class A and preferred stock to enhance its ability to buy more Bitcoin. They're not done, folks. Gang, they're not done. Okay? I'm just showing you this because, like, just in case you're thinking, oh, it's too late for Bitcoin. No, listen, Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin is not going to 10x, right? During this bull cycle. Some of the altcoins will, but Bitcoin is one of those like long range holds, and you can still leverage off of it with this particular bull cycle. It's still going to go up significant, where if you do want to sell some or do a collateral debt position and borrow against it, whatever. But also the altcoins are going to go wild, and then maybe you can convert some of that into Bitcoin, because I think Bitcoin is going to be a long range hold. Remember, it's not going to be minted out until well after we're gone. That's how long Bitcoin's ecosystem is going to last. We still have 100 years of mining left, right? So I'm just showing you guys what's really going on, man. It's getting wild. Getting crazy, spooky, hilarious. This is what we're doing right now, guys. Let's get back to this as we wrap it up. So I just wanted to show you guys what's really going on, man. I don't really have too much more to say. And I'm gonna have other stories to go on. There's some things I don't know. I'm kind of reserved on saying at this point in time, but I think it would be fair for especially those who've been following since the Carrot Bars, Gold Standard Bank days should know. But I'm gonna fall back on that for now. Give it some time to work itself out. But anyway, this is the market, y'all. This is how we're looking. We're looking pretty green. We've had a buying opportunity the last few days when the market kind of crashed for a second. But this is what we're looking like. Litecoin's up 18%. Trump token is up. Let's go ahead and look at this Trump token, dog. Let's go ahead and look at this. Let's dive into this a little bit more. Okay, it's up 7% today. Market cap at 8.7 billion. See at the all-time highs. Now this is I want to say the all-time high got to 70, if I remember correctly. When I checked, the all-time high was $76 or something like that. When it started at like $6, so it went from like $6 to $70, $75, and then it came back down to about 40 where it's at right now. But it's still, still makes it pretty up there. Right. Total supply, 1,000 million, which is what, 1 trillion? We got 1 trillion of them in. I believe that's what they're saying. Let me see here. News, markets, chart. So at some point, I can't find it right here. It's kind of hard with this clunky ass computer. But I do know the all-time high was like 76. It went from 6 to like 76, and then they took a lot of money off the table. As you can see, the volume right there is 46% down. So listen, I'm not saying I think the best of this coin you may have already seen for those who got in real early and dumped it as peak. That's probably the most you're gonna make. I do believe though, because remember, this is Trump. And he's not going to just let this die out within the first, you know what I'm saying? I think he's going to let this thing play out for some years, for a couple of years, at least while he's in office. And I think you're going to see this thing go up, pump and dump, pump and dump, pump and dump. If you could time it right, you could probably take advantage of some of this. I think overall, you know, with holding 80%, he's not really worried that everybody's going to be able to liquidate. The only person that's going to be able to liquidate is him and his cronies who are in it. But, you know, if you ride the waves properly, you might be able to leverage off this as well. And even if you just bought it today, you're up 10%. So it is what it is, y'all. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Gang. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't already. Thanks for your time. Peace.